Hello and welcome back to another one of my videos. My name is Mr. Trail, and today I'm going to go through a math idea that discusses different ways of adding large numbers. And when I say large numbers, I don't mean numbers such as 9 or 49 or even 6,249. These different strategies will give us an idea to get all the way up to the big billion mark. So let's go ahead and get started with these different ideas. So we're going to keep the numbers small because we're going to focus on the method or approach or the idea that we're trying to really focus in on. And that one is called the above method. The above method is the idea where instead of you put your remainder numbers on the bottom or anywhere else, you put them right on top of the equation, as you'll see here. So let's begin with the ones place. So 2 plus 6 equals 8. And remember, we always go right to left. Going on into the 10th position, as I'll put an arrow there, is 6 plus 4 equals 10. Now, understanding place value of numbers, you cannot have two numbers in one place value. So, what would normally be put in the hundreds, where you put, let's say, here, you'll now make sure you don't put it there to be confused, and you move the number to the top, otherwise known as the above the equation. And you begin continuing on in the hundreds place. And I'll put a green arrow there. So 1 plus 3 plus 7 is 11. And as described in the 10th position, you can't have two numbers in one place value position. Therefore, you have to have your remainder, which would have been in the thousands position, up at the top to add with the other numbers. And to wrap the equation up, you add the 1 remainder to the 5, which makes 6, plus the 3, which gives us 9, leaving our equation as 9,108. And that ends our above strategy. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next strategy, which would be called the below method. So if you notice, with our equation is exactly the same. It's 5,362 plus 3,746. And the only difference between the above and the below method is that instead of putting your remainder numbers at the top of the screen, you put them down near the equation line. And let's go ahead and do the math again, starting with the tens position. 2 plus 6 equals 8. Continuing forward, you have 6 plus 4 equals 10. You cannot have two numbers in a place value position, so you have to bring the remainder, which would have been in the hundreds position, above the line, otherwise known as the below method. So you continue forward. 3 plus 7, which is 10, plus the remainder of 1, which leaves us 11. We have a remainder of 10, seeing as that would be moved over to the thousands position, and we'll go ahead and keep it right above the equation line. And wrapping up the equation, you have 5 plus 3, which is 8, plus 1, which is 9, leaving us with the same answers we had in the above method, 9,108. So let's go ahead and go on to our final method, which is unique to itself. So our final method here is going to be our subtotal method. And with the subtotal method, think of it as creating each unique amounts for the equation and adding all them up together to get your final solution. And it will look like something similar to what's called expanded form, where if you have a number like 326, when you expand it out, you're expanding it out to each unique place value, such as 300 plus 20 plus 6, which equals 326. And you do pretty much the same thing here. So let's begin with the first one, the ones. The ones are 2 plus 6, which equals 8. Now that we're heading into the tens column, we have to pay attention to the fact that we're not dealing with 6 plus 4. We're actually dealing with 60 plus 40, which equals 100. And that's incredibly important to pay attention to, and why understanding place value is important so you don't make mistakes. So the answer to that will be 100. Moving on, you now have the hundredths window. And the hundredths window will be in green. And what we're looking at here is not 3 plus 7, but more like 300 plus 700, which equals 1,000. And that gives us the place value there that we can now add it, 1,000. And now we wrap up with the thousands place, which is in the blue arrow. And understanding it's a thousands place, it's not 5 plus 3, it's 5,000 plus 3,000, which gives us 8,000. And I'll put it here. Which now we have our subtotals as named by the method. And now we just add them together to get the answer, which is 8 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, which is 8. 0 plus 0 plus 0, which is 0. 1 plus 0 plus 0 is 1. And 1 plus 8 is 9. Wrapping up with our final answer that we've gotten on all the other methods. And this wraps up our video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please leave a like and subscribe. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in my next video. Goodbye.